So another 100 yards or so down the trail, we got another little split in the little fork, crossroads. Two different areas to go in, or four different areas. But I like this nice little open area. It's got looks like a silver maple sitting here, which they're not as common as the red one, but I like them. We got some reeds right here growing, and I love the shape of this little sumac tree. It's like, I don't know, it's just like nice and round and bushy, not like the normal ones. And we got a nice little patch of Dame's Rocket here, which I know is Dame's Rocket because it has the 4 petals instead of just instead of 5. And this one's gone to seed, so it's kind of, I'm not going to nibble on that because it's all going to be bitter and everything. But this is definitely a nice little spot. And you see a nice little trail going up in there, which is probably an interesting little place to look, but I haven't gone there yet. More of those aspen, I believe aspen, and some, I'm going to say it right, birch. More of the birch back behind it. And I don't know why. I mean, it's I suppose it's easy to mix up birch and beech, so. But I've never tried beech nuts either. Oh, we got another little crab apple right here. A lot of little crab apples on this one. Now this is interesting because these are round, but the first crab apple tree I found back here has more like, they're a little more oblong. So I'll have to, well no, they're round. I think it's just that they have stripes on them, which is, it's kind of probably a slightly different variety. But when we get over there, I'll take a shot of them so that you can see the difference. But those are probably your typical standard crab apples. And here we go, that birch again. So I'm gonna have to, there's several varieties, and I'm gonna have to like learn to distinguish between them. But still, it's nice to at least have a basic understanding. I think they're termed in the poplar family, which confuses me because yellow poplar doesn't look anything like them. Tulip tree, it's also called. But here's that tent and stuff I was talking about where I think the homeless people were living. It's been abandoned for several months, I think at least. Looks like a bear came through and just tore it all up, but they had a little vacuum in there, and pads and a pillow and some kind of food, even hairspray. Looks like a pool filter kind of thing. I don't know what that is, but yeah, and they left all their garbage here, of course, because, you know, a lot of people are dicks. Pardon my French, but it's just annoying. It's just a pain in the ass to see such beautiful woodlands scarred by all this crap that people just leave around. And I wanted to leave the camera running for this and walk a little bit, just because right up here is where Muddy Creek goes through. Now, the interesting thing about Muddy Run, they call it, I'm sorry. I'm just so used to calling everything creek because that's what we call them back home in the West. But here they name a lot of the creeks runs, which I guess makes sense. Just something I'm not used to. Old coke ash dump. Big ass tire sitting there, another one there. Looks like some kind of couch or something, but yeah, this is, oh no, that's a bumper. Vehicle's bumper. How this stuff gets back here, I have no idea. But this is Muddy Run, goes through here. And the interesting thing about Muddy Run in this area, in this patch, is that it hardly has any flow to it. As you can see, just a little tiny creek going through there. And, you know, forms these pools. But the interesting thing is that upstream from here, it's got more flow to it. And downstream, it's got a lot, you know, it seems to just pick up and have more flow to it. But right here in this section, in this area that's been dug out, it just seems like it goes underground for a while. Now, again, I'm thinking that's probably because of the old mines around, the old coal mines around here. So maybe it goes down in there and then it resurfaces later on down. You got some cattails back there and some reeds or sedges or rushes or whatever these are called here. Yeah, so still, it's just interesting to me how a creek can do that. It just goes so far at a nice little pace. It goes underground and it comes back out fine. It's like just interesting to me. Let's see. And then over here, I was thinking about planting another little pawpaw patch back up in here. There's a nice little area that seems suitable for it. Trying to walk through here without getting too much bounce. But right back in here where this beautiful maple tree that has 4 trunks is. Look at that. Beautiful little red maple. I love it. But yeah, here's that part of the creek here, and I'm thinking right here where we get a little sunshine, and bank would be a nice spot for some pawpaws. Constant water source, which they love. Big sycamore tree over there on the other shore. Yeah, so bet you there's all kinds of critters roaming around in there, like crayfish and, you know, mayfly larvas and all that other stuff. Of course, we got lots of poison ivy everywhere. Gotta avoid that. All right, so we're gonna hike up this trail up to the edge, and it gets all open again because of the power lines here. So if I see anything interesting on the way, I'll turn her on again. A quick little thing that I just wanted to stop and take a video of so I can have a record for it is I came across this plant in I think my last video, and I thought it was red clover, but then now that I'm looking at it, it doesn't have flowers or anything like the red clover is. I'm looking at it and I am thinking that this stuff might just, oh here, I think this, yeah, it's got flowers on it. It's definitely not red clover. I'm gonna have to look at these flower stalks because I think this might just be alfalfa. I mean, I should be more familiar with alfalfa, seeing how, you know, I grew up with it. But yeah, these little white, I have to remember this because that's the other thing I think it might be. And that would be interesting if it is, because I wasn't sure about alfalfa and if it actually grew back here. But I'm sure it's probably a prolific plant that grows pretty much across all the states. But I mean, it's harvested and farmed. So, and now this plant too, I always found interesting. See how the leaf whorls are like here, here, here. It's got the different tiers. Now it's supposed to get 7 or 8 feet tall if it's the plant I think it is. It's called Culver's root, and they use the roots for laxatives. Now you see we got some flow going here. That's interesting. Definitely increasing on the flow on the creek. But yeah, this Culver's root, some of the leaves look more smooth, some of them look more bumpy, so I'm guessing there's a few different varieties. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is, because there's not a whole bunch of different plants that look like this. They're all a little different. But the ones that have less light in the forest that I've found, they're usually more space between the leaf whorls. But it definitely caught my eye this year. It's the first time I've seen it, so I had to go and do some searching on it. And look at here, I think we got some spearmint. You know, the stem's not, I don't think the stem's square. Maybe that's square. But I've really never been much into mint since I'm allergic to peppermint and certain other kinds of mint. But wintergreen is okay, I can handle that. Now here's some red clover. That's definite because of the little chevrons in there. But yeah, I'm thinking that stuff just might be some alfalfa. I'll have to look that up. And always a lot of these pretty little flowers. See, there's a red clover right there. Yeah. And oh, I think we got an alder shrub started here. A lot of them fuzzy bugs on it. Doesn't look too happy. Another silver maple right there. And some kind of bush. Another one I'm not familiar with. A lot of different pretty flowers on it. Too much of a diversity back here for me to be any kind of expert right now. More of those little, like I said, I think it's some kind of vetch. But Yeah, it's got some dock here. It's gone to seed already. People eat curly dock. And, you know, wavy dock, curly dock, whatever, smooth. Couple different varieties, but they're all edible from what I understand. I think the leaves are a little more bitter than I would like. A lot of grapevines right here. I don't see any little grape clusters though. At least it's nice that it's so low and be able to pick some if it was producing, but I found a couple back there that when I had the camera off, that the grapes were just starting to get their little bit on there, and they'll be ready to pick in a while. Oh, this sumac's coming along nice with its clusters. Staghorn sumac. Another one of those, what I believe is an alder tree. All right, let's head on down the road. All right, so we're at the end of this part of the trail in this patch, and this is where the housing complexes start for my little town. And here's some vetch. Here's some crown vetch growing here. Some more milkweed and a lot of honeysuckle all interspersed in there, and a lot of honey. So, oh yeah, I smell it now. Oh man, that's good. Now, I don't know what this is. The leaves look like camphor leaves, but I'm pretty sure that's not what it is. Oh, some wonderful smells going on here. More than honeysuckle. I can't quite place what the other. Oh, we got some mullein. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it exactly, but they also call it cowboy toilet paper. I think I brought that up on the last video. It's really, really soft leaves. Very soft, like Charmin. And we got some more raspberries in here. Wild raspberries. Another one of those little trees that reminds me of a fruit tree. Now here's the bridge right on the edge in the creek. Now you can see it's a little bigger down there. And there's definitely more flow than there was up there. So I don't know where all that water is going in between, but you can see a nice bit of flow going on there. So go figure, where it goes and comes back out is anybody's guess, I suppose. But, you know, logic would say that since this is a big coal mining area, that there's probably still some empty shafts down there and stuff. Now we got a lot of marshy area too all around my area. So you can see a nice big patch of cattails, which they kind of nicknamed as nature's supermarket, since pretty much every part of the plant is edible. Not these big fronds, but when they're young shoots, you can eat them. And the roots you can eat like potatoes, make a starchy flour out of them too. Also the pollen at the tips, you can shake that off and make that and add it to flour, make kind of a flour base out of it. And even the cattails themselves, when they're young and hard, you could boil them up and eat them like corn. Yeah, and you can use the fluff for like pillow down or things like that. Cattail is a very, very useful plant. Problem with it is, since it grows in these low boggy areas, you have to be careful where you harvest it from, because you never know, especially with all this dumping like this here that you see, what kind of toxins are in there, because it does tend to hold the toxins. So it's better to find it up in the more upland wooded areas where, you know, there's not as much pollution. Here, as you can see, another more garbage. Here, I don't think I would trust it, just because there's too big of a risk of different toxins. So, but yeah, that's this length, and it's probably from my house to here. I probably walked about, I'm guessing probably about close to a mile, not quite a mile, but yeah. So, like I said, I didn't want to tape the whole time because that would have been a lot to edit out. So. All right, let me get back to the next fork where I'm going to turn off and back into the woods. Then I'll be back. Here we got a nice patch of wild blackberries that are getting red. No black ones yet, but they're actually somewhat, for wild ones, they're actually pretty plump. But they're all over the place here. Hopefully I can get back here and get to them before the animals do. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of them right in here. Yeah, all kinds of them. have to remember this nice little patch. Yep, it's right before the pond up here. Here's another big cluster of them. A little farther behind that other patch up there. More here. Like I said, tons of them right here in this particular area. A lot of new growth coming in, I can see. Those shoots just spread really. They shoot out and then they arc down, and then the tips of those reroot. And then you get more blackberry bushes. And we got, of course, our old friend, the spice bush. A lot of spice bush everywhere. I wasn't really going to mention it today, but that was a nice young one. Here's the pond again that we're coming up to just here to the left with all the deer tracks again. Yep. I don't know if we can sneak up on that frog this time. He's on the other side though. Probably not. Probably scare him up, but it was a fairly big frog. I don't think it was, oopsie, there he went. One jumped in there. I don't think it was a spring peeper. Yeah. Definitely like probably a green frog, or could be a little bullfrog, but yeah. Huh. Alright, so we're gonna head up on this trail over here. Oh, big beautiful aspen tree. I'm pretty sure, like I said, aspen and birch. Aspen and birch, I have trouble sometimes telling them apart, but alright. Go up a little farther, see what we can see up here. Alright, so I had to turn the camera back on because to me this is kind of funny, but right here you can see a typical Pennsylvania. Let's see if I can zoom this in. I don't know. It's not responding. So, well, anyways, you see that wooden chair just tied up to this tree up here. That's a Pennsylvania deer stand, my friends. And I have nothing, absolutely nothing at all against hunting or anything like that. I think it's, you know, everyone's right to. I personally don't want to do it. I don't like killing things if I don't have to. Not that I haven't done so in the past, but yeah, that just kind of struck me as funny, that typical Pennsylvania deer stand. Yeah, they get up there, they watch for them, and yeah, pretty cool. And we're back into that open area down there. I'm just a little more toward the woods now than I was before. And here's one of those bigger trees, which I think might be a sourwood. And so yeah, the bark is kind of more blocky. I don't know exactly. That's more grooves and stuff. I thought that the bark from the sourwood was more kind of like Osage orange, more square, chunky things, but definitely want to find out what this particular tree is. This is the next one on my list. So yeah, because if it was sourwood, then it's kind of in its northernmost range, because it's more yeah, it's more like down in Kentucky, and you know, Kentucky and more to the south of us here. So but as you can see, they get fairly big. Yeah, so what I'd love to find one day is a wild persimmon tree. Oh my goodness, I've been looking for one of those forever. And while they typically can grow in this area, it's not really known in this area. It's central PA, southern, that's known more for the wild persimmons. And I know there's some wild ones growing over at New River Gorge in West Virginia. So I might have to take a trip there late fall, maybe even during my pawpaw trip, see if I can't find some there and get some seeds and plant them around here. Alright, I'm gonna head back up the trail. Alright, definitely back on the way, back. I wanted to stop here because this little bush here, you can see all the flowers are pretty much gone, but a couple weeks ago I was here and it was in full bloom. This is our state plant, the mountain laurel. It's different than rhododendron. It's smaller leaves, and to me, I think it's got prettier flowers. And it's a Pennsylvania state flower. So this is the only one, the first one, the only one I've found so far out on my hikes. And I was pleased when I found it. I was like tickled pink, and they have pink flowers. So All right, I know I'm goofy as shit, but but yeah, I just wanted to point that one out. And then further down this trail, which I normally go that way, but then I always, you know what, I gotta go this way. I don't want to do any new trails today, but because not too far from the darn spider webs everywhere. Not too far from that mountain laurel is where it starts getting back into the woods, is that other crabapple tree that I wanted to point out. It's definitely, this doesn't look familiar. Did I go the wrong way? Oh no, that's right, I go around that loop, I come back and it comes back down this way. So I'm not going to waste my time. Maybe I should have went that other way. Like I said, this honeycomb trails through here just kind of easy to turn you around. So, yeah, oh, nice big pretty pink flower in there. Wild rose of some sort. Look at that thing just blooming right there. Wish I can get this zoom feature to work. Huh. Oh well. I'll have to go and read the manual and figure it out at some point again. Yeah, because here's where that other trail was. I should have just stuck to it. Oh, looks like another little crab apple too, but this one's like the others with the round apples on it. It's funny how many more of these I'm noticing. At first I only noticed the one up here, but geez Louise, I'm like all turned around. Where the heck am I? Let's go this way. It looks all unfamiliar. It's not hard to understand why it looks unfamiliar, since, you know, with all the growth, you know, changing so quickly, it's no surprise that I would not recognize a lot of it. Wait a second, where in the heck am I going? All turned around. I think maybe I'll have to get back on a regular. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, here. Yeah. Here we are. I think I just took a wrong turn back there. Did another little loop. But I know we're getting really close because it's right on the edge of the more open area in the woods. And here it is, right here. But this, maybe it's just because they're smaller, that they're not the same shape. But like I said, these have interesting rings around them. Not all of them, but they have most of, I'd say more have these rings around them than don't. You can see those rings there. It's just interesting. So, like I said, just another crabapple. God, I found more crabapple today than I ever expected I would find. Alright, so, ooh, goodness, right in my face. Crazy little crabapple. Surprised I haven't seen any deer. A lot of fresh tracks. Just followed a mama doe with her little fawn. At least one. It looked like only one. Hopefully before we get to the house, we'll see some. Ah, here we go. Haven't seen one of these in here yet. Surprised I missed it before, but got a nice little northern catalpa. You can see the pretty flowers that it has. Turns into seed pods later in the year. They call it a Toby tree around here. I don't know, something about smoking the seed pods like they were big fat Tobies, which is another word they use for cigar. So I had to practically learn a whole new vocabulary when I moved back here. I mean, I already knew yuns, but they also use yins, and up there, down there, drop a lot of consonants. Definitely different speech pattern than I'm used to in California. Then we got somebody left their toilet down here, and they were burning something back here, which a nice little milkweed plants decided to utilize. Nice little, looks like an ash tree back there, or a shingle oak or something. I'm not quite sure, it's too far away for me to tell. But I'm almost back to the main trail, back to the house. Now this area is usually drier than this, but since it's been raining off and on all week, it's pretty moist and dense. And even though it is a drier area, I did plant some more pawpaw seed in here, because I was kind of hoping to get it more, more prolific around my particular area. Look here, is this a white pine? It's got the long leaves and clusters of 5, yep. What do you know, we got a little white pine sprouted here. Huh. Thought so, that's just interesting. It's the only one I've seen around here. Like I said, about a dozen times I've hiked this trail and I don't see any other white pines around here, so who knows how these things get started. Very interesting though. I guess maybe a squirrel traveled some distance and dropped and buried a cone or some nuts from the cone there. Wow, that's a really big one of those trees that I think, like I said, might be a sourwood. It's got a lot of blooms up at the top up there. I really got to find out what kind of tree that is. And yeah, the bark is more striated than it is blocky, so I have to look into it deeper. All right, and here we are back to the main trail. Oh, interesting what that tree is. Fuzzy leaves. Back to the main trail. Now I went that way. That's where we started our journey, and back up this way is back to home. At the top of that little rise up there, you can see the road and the gas, natural gas station from there. And it's also where I was almost trampled by some deer. 4 deer came charging out of the woods and stomped around, and they were more scared of me than anything, but still, it was like startled me. Which I'm kind of upset we didn't see any deer today. I mean, I know there's lots of them back here, plenty of deer tracks. But, oh well. See, here's another sinkhole right here. Not as big as the other one. Yeah, but definitely close to the other one, because it's just right up here, I believe. Yep, just right on the other side of this puddle. And all these blackberries on my right. Yep, see, and there you go, people. We're right back to that original sinkhole and back home. So alright, so I'm sweating and need to probably go shower off and check myself for ticks. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off now, and since I know that there's a couple of my friends and stuff that can't get out like they used to, and hopefully they'll enjoy, hopefully everybody will enjoy and appreciate my little romps in the woods, but a couple people in specific that I'm thinking about and hoping they get something out of it, because I know they used to love to be outdoors and see the stuff like that they can't really get around as much as they used to. So everybody have a blessed day, and hope you have a great week, great summer. I'll be posting more videos off and on. I hope you enjoy the content. If you do, just drop a quick like, and if you want, subscribe to the channel, because this is mostly what it's going to be, just me roaming around the woods and looking at things that I see interesting, and doing some little historical expeditions and things like that. So feel free to like, subscribe if you want, or not. I don't expect to get much attention on this channel, but still something for me to do, something for me to learn. So God bless, take care. Pyraxis out.